Hi, so today I wanted to do a video on NPCs. I think my method saves me a lot of time, creates seeming seemingly depth to my NPCs, um, and the players seem to like my NPCs. So I just thought that I would kind of show how I go through it uh, and make one. I'm just going to make my display, change it. Um, so here we have Yanes. So Yanes was a prominent NPC in my last campaign. Um, and essentially, this is all the information I have for him. I have a profession, a mannerism, a conclusion, and a goal. Um, Most of my NPCs, I just start with their name, the portrait, and the mannerism. Mostly because I tend to make a lot of NPCs that are pretty bare bones that I can kind of just substitute wherever. But with this one, um, I had a very clear goal with this one. So his main purpose was to be an ally to the PCs at a cost. So his profession was revolutionary leader. So he was essentially in the city, and the players were spies, so they were trying to destabilize the region. So he was a pretty good ally because they were gonna try and overthrow the city and kind of put it into the hands of someone that was beholden to them. So he was a prime candidate. His mannerism, he's super sweaty in the daytime. I thought this was a really good mannerism because I can like play it up like he's just super sweaty. He just can't get. He just is always sweaty and he always wants to like touch you and hug you and get his sweat all over you. And I just thought it was a very fun mannerism to play. So conclusion. This is kind of how I do my mysteries. I kind of just write what I want the players to find, and if they do anything to kind of discover that conclusion, then they just get it, right? Like if they follow him around, he'll do vampire things, and I think it's a lot better to do mysteries in that way. And I'll do a whole video on mysteries. And his goal to gain control of his food supply, right? So since he's a vampire, the double-edged sword is if you put him in control of the city, then he's gonna end up kind of creating an authoritarian city where he treats everyone as his cattle, right? So it's gives the players a good choice whether or not being spies and overthrowing the region is more important than kind of the moral situation. And that's why I think he was an overall good NPC and why I think the players liked him. So I touched on earlier. So this is kind of how much prep I do for my general kind of NPC. So I make 5 to 10 of these, and I kind of just substitute them in when I need them. Here we have Krug. I basically searched Pinterest and found a picture of someone that I thought kind of gave me a lot of inspiration. All right, so I look at him. I think he's kind of like a scary guy, probably a bit dumb, right? So, I'm gonna do my mannerism like this or whatever, right? And that's what the O is for, just so I know to put my mouth in an O. And I kind of do this, and if the players, let's say they go to a tavern I wasn't expecting, I just take Krug here and I make him the bartender. And you're like, and it creates an interesting situation, right? Because this is not normally the kind of, like, an ogre or whatever would not normally be the bartender at a bar, and it creates an interesting situation the players haven't dealt with before, and maybe they become friends, and Krug goes on adventures with them. Right? You never really know what the players are going to latch onto, so you might as well just make a whole bunch of these and just kind of like keep throwing. Like if you have 10, like I do, then the NPCs are going to be a bit more kind of, you do less prep, and when they show up, they make an impact. And if the players want to continue interfacing with them, then you can go and add additional stuff like Yanes, right? Like maybe like his goal, right? If Krug comes back for a second session, he might have something he wants, right? Like maybe he wants to meet his father or whatever. And you can always kind of do all that stuff. So when I'm kind of looking up NPCs, I just go to Pinterest. And in Pinterest, if you kind of keep scrolling, eventually you'll find some pictures of... let's look up NPC fantasy. I always put portraits because I think portraits are better. And I kind of just look for someone who gives me a lot of inspiration, right? Like she gives me very like proper and sturdy vibes, very matter of fact. So that'll help me kind of feed into the mannerism basically instantly. So when I'm looking for pictures, I look for something that just gives me an idea in my head. And then I just come to so actually let's just grab her. We will put it on the desktop. And then we'll look at fantasy names. We'll go to evil names and see what we come up with. So evil female names. Kada isn't bad. I like Kada. Let's do that. Oh, it's not. Oh my god. Doing it live. So basically just add a handout, add the name. The last name came anyways. And I go to my desktop. I'm thinking it's this one. Oh fuck. Okay. So we grab that, and then we grab, so we just do mannerism, and we do it in the GM section so the players don't see it. Strict, improper. Head held high, right? Like I would kind of take her pose while I'm playing her, so that like they'll change her voice a bit, and it'll kind of give that character more life just from doing that. So put her down here, and if the players interact with her, right, like she has skulls and stuff like that, so she seems like her goals are probably evil, if I'm going to be completely honest with you. So yeah, that is my entire thing about NPCs. Actually, there's one more thing. So I do all my NPC notes on the character, right? So if Yanes finds something out, I'll write a note section down there, and I'll be like, oh, he knows this because the players told him. And this allows you to keep your NPC knowledge away from your GM knowledge, because it's it makes the characters feel more real when they only know what the players know they know, and you keep your GM knowledge separate because you don't want to like metagame and confuse the two. So it's always good to keep your NPC notes inside the sheet. It's gonna. So yeah, that is my whole thing about NPCs. If you like the video, like it, subscribe for more content, and comment. I really appreciate any feedback, and if you have different ways of doing NPCs, obviously lifelong learner, so always happy to learn new ways of doing things. This is just the method that worked for me, so I hope it works for you if you try it out. Thank you.